Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to not just another episode of Downloadable Content, but we are SJ.
And Alex Hoecherl. And today we are presenting the 4th annual Hoecherl Game Awards.
Let's get right into it. Alex, how are you? Christmas is so close. We got our special episode here.
Yeah, less than 2 weeks out from the big holiday. I'm good. Wrapped up finals this week, so I'm looking forward to.
You're done then.
With the semester.
Good.
So nice to have a little 3-week break and then one more go around. But yeah, feeling good. How about you?
Pretty good.
Nice.
Pretty good. Yeah, work is good. Just steady doing my thing. Wrapping up some Christmas shoppings.
Okay.
Nothing crazy. But yeah, it's good, man. I got my Nintendo shirt here from the Osaka Nintendo store. First time wearing it since I bought it. So,
Nice.
yeah.
How's it feel?
It's good.
Feels genuine.
It's good. This was one of those that we didn't know it was at the store, and I was at the checkout line. Erica was looking at stuff, and then I'm getting close to the end of the checkout line. She's like, "Wait, hey, do you want this? I'm sure you want a Nintendo shirt, right? There's a red one or a gray one. Which one do you want?" I was like, "Red," and I was like, "Actually, wait, change it to gray, because gray will go with everything."
Right.
And then so she quickly ran it up for me.
Nice.
To the checkout line. But anyway, yeah. I do have I realized that I hadn't posted this. I made a 10-minute video of all of the random little stuff that I bought in Japan. So if you're interested in that, check out our Patreon. I will be posting that there at some point.
There you go.
Also, just before we get into this whole thing, because this is a really long episode, I just want to say, if you're on YouTube or on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, whatever, and you haven't yet, and you would like to support us, give us a follow, give us a subscribe, drop a like if you'd like. Just wanted to throw that out there rather than at the end of a very big episode.
And before we get into our award presentation, of course, we'll do a little bit of updating. But before we get into our personal stuff, we are recording this a day after, or 2 days? 2 days after Jeff Keighley's Game Awards show, where I think to nobody's surprise, Claire Obscure Expedition 33 did very, very well, picked up a lot of awards. But we're not going to talk about those awards, because our awards are the ones that people should be striving for.
Yeah, this is the real deal. Ones. There's no filler, there's no ads.
But we do want to talk about some announcements, because there's some kind of cool stuff that was announced this year. Do you want to start?
I'll just say that I've only seen, I watched a 15-minute recap video of boom, here were all the announcements that came out in the Game Awards, because that's primarily what I was interested in. I saw the Star Wars Racer game, and I was later... and then the other Star Wars...
Fate of the Old Republic.
Yeah, Fate of the Old Republic, which is slightly more hype than the racing one. Definitely more hype than the racing one. But I was disappointed to later find out that, 2020, what is it? What do you say? 2030 release is optimistic.
Yeah.
So it's you can't just throw out a trailer super hype looking like that without any clear communication, and then just later in a Twitter post just be oh yeah, by the way, I talked about this with some of my other friends, but it doesn't bother me as much if up front it's very clear that, hey, you're just announcing development or something like that, right? They did that with Elder Scrolls 6. They announced, they're boom, Elder Scrolls 6 is now in development. Okay, cool. You're just announcing that you're working on the game. That's fine.
And
but
they did the same thing with Tears of the Kingdom. In that initial trailer, they said development, right?
Yes.
Early stages. I
Like
get what you're saying.
when the message is clear like that, I don't mind as much. But like when you drop this like super cool looking trailer, and then like at the end, like Fate of the Old Republic or whatever, it's like, okay, so like there's a game, like it's happening, right? And then like a day later, you find out, oh, actually, like no, we're like really far out, and 2030 is optimistic. Like, come on, man! Like, what are you doing?
I do think that that's a problem where games, and this is not a unique opinion, I want to clarify that. But the fact that games get announced 4 or 5 years before release, it's like that's a
No,
generation away. Like that's literally a video game console. I mean, I know you're a PC master race, so it's different for you, but that's a console generation away. Like
for real.
that's a long time, you know.
People are
So
memeing and being like, yeah, okay, so this will drop when we have like a PS7. Like,
and another thing that I'm trying to be cautiously optimistic about, but know that of any licensed IP, as far as like games likely getting canceled, especially when they're so
dude,
far out, Star Wars, like
Star Wars stuff gets canceled left and right, man.
how many have been dropped, right?
Yeah,
So I'm hopeful. I know that the people who did Mass or parts of the team are people that did Mass Effect, which is really well liked in the
right.
sci-fi game community. So I'm hoping that it works out, but I guess we'll see.
Yeah, and another one of my friends put it really well. It's just like, just complete the game and let us know when you're almost done. And in my opinion, like, I don't mind if they're just clear on announcing development, like I've said before. But when it comes to like, okay, hey, here the game is and it's gonna be released soon, like I don't want to hear about it until you're like 12 months out tops.
I think 12 months makes sense. I think I have a little bit more like grace if it's like so like that Nintendo is always working on a new Zelda, on a new Mario, right? Like I don't want to see those more than 12 months out.
Yeah.
Like with this game, if they were to be like, oh, this is coming out summer of 2027, that probably would be my limit, right? Like that 18-month period, I think is enough for a game that you don't know is being made. But 5 years. Five
And
years?
that's if everything goes smoothly, and we both
And it
know
never
it's
does.
not gonna
Never
go
does.
smoothly.
Dang.
Yeah, it's not. Because the thing is, like, I think about it from like, when I first heard about it, like, okay, is this like a marketing thing, right, to get the hype up or whatever? But like, people are gonna forget about it like so soon, or they'll just be upset that it's not coming out, and then by the time it drops, it's like, oh, finally. And then because of that sour taste in their mouth, if there's any issues with it, it's gonna feel even worse.
And it's not like Star Wars is the type of thing where like we need to keep the steam going, right? Like people are either burnt out on Star Wars, or if they're excited about it, they're gonna be excited if you show them now or 5 years from now, right?
Absolutely.
Like it's not, you don't need to be building up hype for years and years for a Star Wars game.
You really don't. If anything, it makes the hype die down.
Yeah.
When it takes so long. And I mean, Expedition 33 is a great example. New IP, a literal obscure game, and it just like sweeps the Game Awards, right? They made a good game, they announced it, they dropped it, boom, boom, boom,
Yep.
and then it's seeing crazy success. So like, you don't need this crazy like 5 year, oh hey, we're doing this, oh maybe it's
Yeah.
not 100%. Like, just stop it. Let's see. Yeah, in terms of announcements, those two Star Wars games, I noticed a couple other things that I thought were, oh, okay, interesting, but I don't remember anymore.
Any thoughts on the sequel to Control?
Oh, yeah, that one.
There you go. There you go.
Holy. I'm so hyped. And I saw that it's that studio's most ambitious title yet.
Which is crazy because Remedy shoots for the stars, man. They go for it.
And oh man, I'm so excited because like, I feel like with Control, I scraped the tip of the iceberg in terms of lore. Like, I'm probably going to go out there and watch like a few crazy YouTube essays on like what the lore of that game is so that I can really understand before going into this new one whenever that drops. But I'm really excited. Yeah, so it's from, you play as Dylan, right? It's from his perspective, and it's the direct sequel to Control.
Right.
So presumably it's after he's like better. I don't know how much better, but
Yeah. No. For me, the most hype announcement, it wasn't an announcement, right? Because it wasn't new, but Saros, our Returnal sequel, not really a sequel.
Yeah, I knew.
Story-based trailer
I
and a
knew
release
it.
date of April 30th. Like, I
That's coming
mean,
up.
it's
Is
it's
that gonna be like a day one buy for you?
so probably because you know what
Probably.
else April 30th is? It's the last day of finals for me. Well, it's the last day that a final could be. It doesn't mean that I have a final that day,
Brutal.
but like if that's my I just finished my bachelor's degree, it's time
Reward.
to unwind,
Let's go.
grind on some sorrows. And I I'm glad to see that it's a little bit more story driven. I really liked Returnal's narrative, but
Did Returnal have cutscenes like that?
not really.
No.
At
Okay.
the beginning, at the midway point, and at the end. That's
Okay.
it. Um,
'Cause they look clean.
yeah. No, I mean they're I anyway. Like it's looked so similar to Returnal that I was kind of like, okay, like what's going to be different about it? And now that we know that the story's a bit more of a focus, they showed a couple new combat techniques that you'll have access to. I'm like, okay, this is shaping up to me like how we had Grease and then Neva.
Mm.
We're gonna have Returnal and now Sorrow. So I am fully on board. I'm so excited, and I can't wait to see what it's gonna end up
And
looking
you've
like.
got no reason to like wait for reviews or anything, right? Like you have full confidence in the game, or
I think so.
yeah.
Um, like Returnal launched really polished. The only like major patch they put in is just changing the way that you save.
Oh,
Which I think is something that you don't need to patch on a second game round. Like you'll just know, oh, we should do the
right.
saving this way. Um, so it might be. I I'm not going to pre-order yet. I know pre-orders are live. I will probably wait till like the review embargo is up just to make sure that
That's
nothing
safe.
happened.
That's safe. Yeah.
But if the reviews are coming in and they're positive, like yeah, on April 30th I'll buy it. So
Dang. Were there any other exciting announcements you can think of?
there were other like there was an update on Resident Evil, but I'm not a Resident Evil person. I just saw
Oh
that
yeah, yeah, yeah.
like Leon showing up in the ninth game, which
Yeah.
people are super excited about. That's super cool.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so they're like ones in the industry that I'm like, oh, like that's cool that that's happening. Or there's Exodus, right, which is made by some team that's made games that people really like that looks cool. I don't know, but nothing else like,
Yeah.
specifically for us, I think, to discuss.
Um. Yeah. I have a problem with the Game Awards, and it's that like I always compare it to E3 because I feel like E3 was really hype. They still had like ads and stuff, right? Obviously, they got to make their money, but like I just feel like E3 pacing and how everything went, how everything was presented, was very effective, and I loved watching the entirety of E3. I also used to watch the entirety of the Game Awards, but I kind of gave up on it 2 years ago because like one year I watched the entire thing from beginning to end, and I think the last one that I actually enjoyed was like the one where they had the Joker for Smash reveal in it.
Mm.
That one was pretty alright. I might be biased because maybe they just had a Smash reveal, so maybe that's why I have a positive opinion of it, which is very possible. But I just felt like everyone after that, it's like usually like Jeff like hypes up some game or announcement like toward the tail end or something, and they keep like dragging it on, dragging it on, dragging it on. It's like, oh, we're gonna reveal this, we're gonna reveal this, and then they add like 10 ads in between, and then it's finally revealed. But then it's like, oh, like Vin Diesel comes on stage, and it's like some weird like racing game that nobody cares about or something. Like that was literally, I think that was like 2 3 years ago, and then so I'm like let down at the end of it, and I'm like, man, why did I spend all of that time when that could have been an email or like a PowerPoint presentation done in 5 minutes or something? So like now, this year, I just looked up Game Awards 2025 all announcements
Yeah.
and then just got the gist of it, right? So I'm I don't know. I don't doubt that like they're doing what they need to do to make the show profitable and sustainable, because you know I don't want the show to die, but like I hope they can format it and present it in a way that's a little bit I don't know, just like more palatable for an audience. Like I don't like the show shouldn't feel like, oh, I'm like withstanding all of these like ads and things I don't care about in order to learn some information or like see something, right? Like it's just
Yeah.
I just feel like we're really missing something.
And I think another thing is that like the tone of the awards show is just kind of odd. Like it seems like every single year, right? Like the Vin Diesel thing, or then this year, this is one that I like, but they had the Muppets show up, right? And I love the Muppets. I'm always excited to see the Muppets, but I feel like the crossover between people that like Muppets and people that are watching a video game awards show, like I don't think there's a whole lot of mutual interest there, right?
I don't know. I was pretty I mean, I know we were
Right. We like the
excited to see
Muppets,
that,
right? So it's
but
just, but it just seems like Jeff doesn't, not Jeff specifically, but it's odd. There needs to be format changes. They just need to clean it up a little bit. Because the structure's there, right? Like,
yeah.
there's enough there for people to get excited about. Oh, and I know we weren't going to talk about awards, but I do just want to say most of the time, content created of the year is like some streamer that I've never heard of. Moist Critical won this year.
Oh,
You
he
watch
won?
Moist Critical, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Like that was pretty cool. And I watched his
Yeah.
video where he was putting in his own votes on it, and when it came up to him, he was like, "It's cool to be nominated, but like I'm not going to vote for myself. That's tacky, and like I don't expect to win." But he won, so
Yeah.
good for him. You know?
Moist Critical, he's one of those creators that like the people that don't like him, they're just like, oh, his content's like lazy. But then like the people that like him don't care. That's what they're there to watch. Cause like he sits down and like just talks about random stuff. But
It's just very genuine, you know. Like
know,
there isn't like performance or anything.
he's very down to earth. Yeah, he's a very down to earth guy.
DownNotable.
Collab, let us know. But yeah, and I've heard some really positive things about him in terms of like I think it was sometime this year when he just like showed everybody on stream like how much money he's made from YouTube, like in a
Yeah,
year
that doesn't
or
surprise
something,
me.
right? And
Yeah.
he's just like, and then I think it was at some point in the year when he's like, yeah, I've turned off like all these different things where you can like donate money to me because like I don't need that, and I don't like the idea of like a guy working hard a 9 to 5 coming home and then watching me stream and then like sending me money through YouTube. Like no, like I've got more than I ever will, right? For like generations. Like you need to keep that money. Like I don't even want you to have the option to give me more money. So he's just a very base guy.
Yeah, he's cool.
But yeah,
He's cool. Okay.
so a couple things. Just I just like this
Yes.
feedback from Discord here. So we did our 10 games to get to know me episode, and we got some like pretty good like feedback in the Discord, and we've got a couple more, so I'll just shout them out. Zach said 5 games to get to know me. 1, Elite Dangerous. 2, iRacing. 3, Ocarina of Time. 4, Metroid Fusion. And 5, DCS World. That is very Zach of you. Very, very Zach-like games and very based. Then we've got Qualthorn, a Patreon supporter. His list was Luigi's Mansion on the GameCube, he clarified. Little Big Planet 2, Pikmin 4, God of War Ragnarok, and Floppy Nights. That was his indie game representative. So thank you for the feedback. It's actually cool to see some of these because like a lot of these games, like I've known you guys for a while. It's like, okay, like, I can totally see that. That's totally your game. And then some of them are like, oh, cool,
Yeah.
cool, like surprise. Like it's interesting to see what games people pick. When you have to pick games to like describe yourself, right? So,
Right.
do we have any other updates before we get into the awards?
I think it's time.
Well, I think we've both finished some games. Should we just bring them up as we
Yeah,
talk
'cause I
about
think
them?
that's kind of where we start. So,
All right.
For
Here we
those of
go.
you who are new to this specific award show, we do things a little bit differently here. Um, for our awards, we are including games that we have played in 2025. Not necessarily games that released in 2025. Neither of us have the time to always be playing the newest and freshest, and tastes don't always line up with that. So,
And I think that's the best for our audience too, because honestly, like, who's out here buying all of the major releases, 60, $70 every single one that comes out? Like, that's just not realistic. So this is more representative of like a typical gamer that's got a busy life, and like, here are the games we played and what we liked most.
yeah. And so for me, I'm going to run you through real quick the list of games that I have played and will be including for consideration for my awards this year. I have Shadow of the Colossus, Untitled Goose Game, Mario Kart World, Hollow Knight, Super Mario Bros. Wonder, Ghost of Tsushima, Spider-Man Miles Morales, Star Wars Jedi Survivor, Skyrim, Tales of Arise, and that is my list. And yes, just in case you were curious, Mario Kart World is the only game that released in 2025 on that list. That list might seem a little bit small as well, but this year, in addition to those games, I played a lot of NCAA college football. I played an entire another playthrough of Breath of the Wild and an entire another playthrough of Red Dead Redemption 2. Now, all those awards have already had kind of their award season for this show. So not going to be considering them for awards again because some of these games might end up sweeping the entire categories. But that's what I'm going to be considering.
Same thing goes for me, but I'll just list off all the games that I played, and then I'll kind of mention which ones are not going to be up for nomination. Bone Lab, Pokemon TCG Pocket, that one's not eligible because we already talked about it last year. Pokemon Soul Silver, Pokemon Legends Arceus, whatever. Skyrim, that one's not eligible because I've talked about it and beat the dead horse many, many times. Control, that one's not eligible. That was featured last year. Tetris Effect, Ocarina of Time. So I'm going to limit how much I talk about Ocarina of Time. I still think like what I experienced replaying the game again resonated enough with me that I am going to put it in a couple of categories to mention, but it's not going to like take the spotlight or anything. Don't worry, because if it could, it would just sweep. Avowed, Jedi Survivor, Grand Blue Fantasy Relink, Pokemon Radical Red. Radical Red, I don't think I'm going to mention very much. One, because it's a ROM hack. I've talked about a lot of Pokemon ROM hacks. If you're interested, check it out. But I feel like it's a niche market, right? So I don't want to talk about that one too much. Fire Emblem Engage, that one's not eligible. I've also talked about it before. Pikmin, Mario Kart World, Pikmin 2. And Pikmin 2, I personally think that Pikmin 2 is just an improvement on Pikmin 1. So any nominations that go to Pikmin, I'm just going to say Pikmin 2. But you can kind of assume I also mean Pikmin 1, just kind of those two games, right? Pal World, Hyrule Warriors Age of Imprisonment. I'm not going to put that in any of the awards this year because I want to talk about it next year. Because I've only played for like a few hours so far. And I'm going to be putting in many more hours this month and next month. Mario Tennis Aces, I've also talked about that before. I'm not going to go into it. Smash Brothers, Rivals of Aether 2, same thing with those two. It's not going to be up for nominations. Star Wars Battlefront 2, the new, relatively new, the EA version. Yeah, there you have it. There you have it. If she's bothering you, if she starts doing stuff, let me know and I'll put her back in the cage.
No, she's good for now. It's been a while since we've had her on camera, and she's our invaluable third member of the team.
Yeah, I've got a bird. I've got a Yoshi.
Yoshi's number 4 on that list. So, let's go ahead and get started. So, to begin, our first award that we will be sharing today.
Yes.
Best Content Creator.
Best Content Creator. SJ and Alex's favorites for the year.
Best Content Creator.
Now, the last couple of years, I have had one winner for this award, and it's been What Culture Gaming. And this year, we're not going to give it to them. They had a couple changes where the people who run the podcast, one of them decided to stop working for What Culture full time and kind of do his own thing. And that came to be through a couple different things. He took a mental health break to kind of recenter. And then there's been some changes at the company as well that have just kind of shifted it. I still think they're fantastic and still listen to every podcast episode that comes out. But there were just a couple other creators that I felt like really, really brought it this year. My runner-up for this is Video Game Donkey. I don't think there's anyone on YouTube that's more consistently funny when talking about video games. And he uploads pretty frequently. I feel like he's got a new video like every week or so. Which is just a lot, right? Especially, but really enjoy him. Recommend checking him out. But my winner this year is none other than Nakey Jakey. That name might sound a little bit weird. It's okay. He's a cool guy, I promise. Now, Nakey Jakey is kind of the opposite of these other two creators in that his content uploads is very, very irregular. I think in this calendar year, he's only released like 3 or 4 videos on YouTube. Now, they're all super, super long videos and beautifully in depth. But the real reason that Nakey Jakey won this year, he recently uploaded a review of Hollow Knight Silksong. The review itself is about 35 minutes long and is just so good, so well written. I love the critiques he brings up while also showing just how much he loves the game. And then he has an 8-minute kind of epilogue section of that video where he celebrates 10 years of being a content creator, and shares this like very emotional moment of where he celebrates what he's done, what he plans on doing, and just is like so grateful. And it really, really resonated with me in a way that a YouTube video hasn't in a long time. And I told SJ, I was like, dude, you should watch this video. And then SJ shared, oh, well, I haven't really watched Nakey Jakey before. And so for those of you, if you haven't watched him, watch a lot of his other videos before this, because it really is, I tried to come up with the best comparison. It's like if you were watching an anime or a TV show that has a certain storyline for like literally 10 years. And then that storyline kind of wraps itself up and you know that the story is continuing, but like the future is so open-ended and you're just excited to see what comes next. That's the type of vibes that you get from watching it. And I feel like there will be more appreciation the more of his content that you've watched before.
That's impressive to do something like that on YouTube. Yeah.
It's so good, man. It is the first time that I can remember crying to a YouTube video. So
yeah, what?
Watch Nakey Jakey if you don't. And he's my winner
Holy.
for this year.
Okay, well, definitely sounds like he deserves it. Well, I've got 3. They are all new, at least compared to last year.
Nice.
Got Alpharad. I think most people know Alpharad.
Love Alpharad.
Alpharad, he makes... so I watch a lot of like Nuzlocking content, like Pokemon Nuzlocking content. And my favorites have been like... my favorite used to be Peachow, previously known as Pokemon Challenges, but he kind of dropped off, if I'm being honest. I know he mentioned that he's had some like IRL stuff going on, mental health and things, so like I'm sure he's doing what he needs to do, but like but then like I feel like Alpharad has kind of really taken the charge of like innovating in the Pokemon Nuzlocke space. I mean, he's hiring people to like create whole new mods for the entire community to use for free. That's like, you know, helping other Pokemon creators like do Nuzlocke challenges based on the games that he's made and stuff, right? Like, I know, was it this year? I can't remember. Last year he made like the one where it's like all like Mario based
The
Pokemon,
Mario
right?
one.
And then he made the too many Pokemon types one, which is hilarious. And he's making another one as well. So like, I just feel like his content is really good. It's consistent, and he's like contributing to the community at large.
Yeah.
And I think there aren't a lot of content creators that you can say do something like that. The other one is Abasoft. So Abasoft is a content creator that covers speedruns, and then in particular speedrun cheating and how speedrun cheaters get caught. So kind of similar to, I've mentioned Carl Jobst before. I think I mentioned him last year or the year before. Kind of like Carl, but just kind of retold in a different format. And it's really, really interesting to me to see, like, I like to watch speedrun videos and how people get through games so quickly by exploiting games. It's just interesting to watch. And there's an added layer when we start talking about, oh, this person was the record holder for this long and they were caught because they cheated their submission. Here's how we found out here's how we caught their cheating. And it's just really cool, and I really enjoy it. And then the third one is Press A. Press A and then exclamation point. And I'm going to give Best Content Creator of the Year to Press A. They create Pikmin videos, and they do Pikmin challenges. So they'll be like, can you beat Pikmin 1 with only yellow Pikmin? Or can you beat, with only blue Pikmin? Or it's like, can you do this and this in X amount of time? Or, we modded all of the enemies in Pikmin 2 to be 3 times as large and have 3 times as much health. Like, can we get through it, right? And then, so it's usually these like 30 minutes to an hour kind of videos of him going through these different kinds of like Pikmin challenges and like navigating through it. And it's really, really interesting. It kind of, it scratches the same itch that like speedrunning content does. And his videos also kind of like got me interested in Pikmin again when I haven't been interested in Pikmin for a very long time. And as a result, this year I finished Pikmin 1 and 2. So Press A gets Content Creator of the Award. And to be clear, all of our awards, these are all going to be like subjective. Like, we're not, it's just like whatever we like the most, right? So I could honestly argue people giving it to Alpha Rad or whatever, but like for me personally, like Press A had a bigger impact on me than any other creator. So shout out to you. Yeah.
Nice. All right. Our next award is going to be Best Innovation.
Most innovative. Games that innovate the medium.
The most innovative games. I wanted to put Mario Kart World on here just because taking the Mario Kart formula and switching it up while, retaining some of the feeling. I know that some people are higher on Mario Kart World than others. I really enjoyed playing it this year. So I wanted to mention that. I also wanted to mention Jedi Survivor. Because one of my concerns going into it was how similar is it going to be to the first game. And adding new combat stances. By the way, the new combat stances that they added are the ones that I used the most by far. Blaster stance, man.
Really? That's my least favorite.
I love the because you're
Okay.
using you're fighting like Count Dooku with your like the very duelist approach.
Yes.
But then you're also slice, blast, slice, oh man, I ate that up.
Maybe I had to try it more, but it felt so wrong. I tried it out for like 5 minutes. I'm like, nah.
And the glory kills like is literally like the coldest blooded, just like point blank shooting bro in the face with a blaster. It's so good. So I really liked how they took an established formula again that worked really well and moved it forward. And as I'm looking at this, I realized that none of these are the most innovative titles, but my winner for this year is actually going to be Super Mario Brothers Wonder. for being the most engaging that a 2D Mario game has been to me in a really long time. The different power-ups and the different like environment manipulations they go with, and the fact that they didn't, you know how like each of the 2D Mario games has kind of just had like their one gimmick that they go with.
Yeah.
Like the one on the Wii's the squirrel suit, right? Like Mario Wonder has some of those, but there's like 15 of them that I could come up with. And so they really just kind of let their creativity run wild, and they didn't really say no to any ideas. They were just like, yeah, let's try it. Let's throw it in there. And I liked seeing it because as odd as some of them were, because the entire game is built around that wonder and creativity, like it fits and it doesn't feel out of place. And I'd love to see that type of creativity, or we want to try this, let's try everything that we can think of with it in games in the future. And so I wanted to shout it out and give it the award for this year.
Are you and Liz still playing through it?
Completed.
Oh, complete. All right. Very good. Awesome, man. I haven't played any of it. I've watched people play it, but that's about it. So that's cool to hear that you enjoyed that. Well, my best innovation, we got the nominees and they'll announce the winner at the end. Power World. Innovative in the sense that it takes the Pokemon presentation and formula, but adds in so many different aspects of video games. Above and anything else, it's a survival game. But I think the integration of Pokemon and having them do things for you, fight for you, it's done really well. Legends Arceus, because this one also takes the typical Pokemon formula and changes it, right? It's more exploration. It's, how you approach the game is different. There's a lot more discovery to be made. And then Tetris Effect, because it's the best Tetris I've ever played, in the sense that it's not only just like the gameplay modes, but and I'll talk about this a little bit in like some other categories, but you actually have like a sense of progression. There's like kind of a campaignish thing where you're like going through different levels and things, and each level has like different themes, different music and tracks and things. And I just feel like they've done a lot with the Tetris formula, way more, and they've taken it way further than I ever thought you can with Tetris, and it's really, really cool to see. I actually still have yet to try the VR mode. I really want to do that, because that would just look really cool. And if you've ever played Tetris Effect, you know what I'm talking about. The graphics, the things that happen as you're playing just normal good old Tetris is really cool. And then Pikmin 2, and this kind of includes Pikmin 1, but I can't think of any game that play like Pikmin. Right? Like that whole concept of, okay, you have a day given to you, and you're trying to tackle, and you have to kind of organize in your mind like what you want to accomplish. You need to manage your Pikmin troops, right? Make sure you have enough that you need, but you can't just spend all day growing Pikmin. You really want to also like get things done, like gather ship parts, gather treasures, tear down walls. So like, it's what they call dandori. I don't really know if there's a direct translation, but if you know Pikmin, you know dandori. That whole gameplay loop is really cool and very rewarding too. It's really satisfying. Oh, and I guess I'm dumb. I should have said Pikmin 2 is the winner. I'm going to give Best Innovation to Pikmin 2. And this includes Pikmin 1, just because it's amazing to me how the people at Nintendo can come up with a concept like that. It's just so out there, that it's mind-boggling to me that someone can think, oh, let's have your main character, but your main character doesn't really do anything. It's not really a tower defense game necessarily, but you're going to have troops, and you have, like, yeah, it's just, the whole game concept is just really innovative and really cool. So Pikmin 2 is the winner. Yeah.
Nice. Our next award is Best Soundtrack.
Best Soundtrack. Games with the best audio design and music.
I wanted to put or give a nomination to Star Wars Jedi Survivor. And this one I feel a little bit bad about because like the new music isn't what I loved about it. It's there are a few very specific moments where they bring in like the OG Luke Skywalker theme music into the game. And I will say, not to go on too much of a tangent, but I think one of the great strengths of both Fallen Order and Jedi Survivor is how sparingly they use pre-existing content in both the soundtrack, in Darth Vader or other characters.
Yes.
They know just the right amount to include them without it becoming like overdone or like, oh, well, if they're in this much, they were this important to the story, why didn't we learn about this earlier? Anyway. And I also wanted to nominate Ghost of Tsushima. Some really fantastic music in there. Love the vibes. The vibes are immaculate. My runner-up is Mario Kart World. I love a lot of the tracks in that game. The music definitely adds to it. I feel like a lot of the times if I'm playing on a race course that I don't enjoy in Mario Kart World, it's because like the music isn't as bopping as it could be. I feel like it just has a large impact on your gameplay experience overall. But my winner for this year is Hollow Knight. Hollow Knight soundtrack top to bottom is so good. A specific track I'll save for later because it's relevant to another category, but there are just so many boss themes and different area themes that are unique to the area but tie into the game overall. You see similar motifs. It's just so good on so many levels. I feel like every single year I have that one game where I add like a majority of the OST to my study playlist, and this year it was Hollow Knight because I just cannot stop listening to it. It's so good, and that's why it won this year for me.
Beautiful. Well, my nominees, I also had Mario Kart World on there. Really good. Just, I feel like Mario Kart never misses when it comes to music. It's always really good, and it's very bountiful. Many choices, right?
Yeah, lots of variety.
Jedi Survivor as well, for all the same reasons that you said. And I also like that the music that's not just from like the movies, it still sounds like Star Wars. It feels like Star Wars. And that's what these games do so well, is it never, like, it feels like you're playing within the universe of the movies. And I think maintaining that feel in a video game can be pretty difficult, but they do that really well, especially through the soundtrack. I put Ocarina of Time on here. I couldn't refrain myself. I had to put it on here. It's just, it's so good. It's so good. And I'll talk a little bit more about it in a different category.
It's timeless for sure.
Yeah. But the winner is going to be Tetris Effect. So, yeah, this is one of those where the music changes and adapts to how you're playing Tetris. So, as you play, as you like knock down a couple rows and stuff, like it's really cool. Like the music will have a drop right when you drop like 4 rows and kind of stuff. So like it elevates the gameplay. It makes it more satisfying than it ever could be.
That's way
And
cool.
it does that so well. And the music and the beat and like it all like, it's also tied into the graphics that are on screen as well. So like, certain like parts of the art might be like pulsating to the beat or whatever, and it shifts as you're playing. Very, very cool. Very difficult to describe unless you've played it. So that's my winner.
That's awesome. I feel like I've only heard good things about that soundtrack.
It's
Like,
great. It's great. That game, if you're able to play that game on an OLED screen, whether, I don't know if they have it on Switch, but Switch or OLED monitor TV, or I play it on my Steam Deck, but it looks especially really good because there's a lot of like dark background, so like the contrast just pops, man. Anyway,
Beautiful. Our next category is Best Multiplayer.
Best multiplayer. Games with the best overall multiplayer experience, online or offline.
I'm wondering what you're gonna put on here.
I only have 2 nominees. My runner-up is Mario Kart World. Mario Kart is really fun to play. The only person that I've played Mario Kart World with is my wife. And my wife and I are just a tad bit too competitive. And what I mean by that is, like, if one of us is playing, like, we want to win and get 3 stars on the cup or on the tracks, right? Which means you have to win every single race. But Liv and I are, like, equal enough in skill level in Mario Kart that, like, no matter what, like, we're able to win like a race or 2 from the other person, right?
Yeah.
And it became especially frustrating on Knockout Tour, right? Because you have 6 courses that you go through, where Liv would be beating me the entire time, and then at the very last point on the last one, I would just inch ahead of her and win,
So you didn't get
or
the
vice
3-star.
versa. So we wouldn't get 3 stars.
Yeah.
So it's really, really fun. But it is the runner-up just because it does cause tension, and I prefer true co-op, right? Like cooperative multiplayer, which is why my winner is
Wait. Before you get into that, you should try. This is what Erica and I do, and I think I've told you this before.
We're like, whoever's winning, you just
Whoever
switch
wins-
controllers.
No. Whoever wins the first round of whatever it is, the person that didn't win has to protect them, and their goal is now to get that person in first place, so you both get 3 stars, and then it turns into a cooperative game.
There you go.
That's what Erica and I do. It works great.
That might have to be the solution.
Because otherwise it will create tension.
Yeah, for sure.
But sorry.
No, not at all. That's a great point. And with that does mean that my winner for this year is Super Mario Bros. Wonder.
Yes.
Not perfect. So my wife is very specific on getting golden flagpole and the 3 flower coins, which are the equivalent of the star coins in this game, for every single level, and including all the bonus levels. And we have done that for everything except like the final gauntlet level. And she doesn't watch this, so I can say this. It's a little bit aggravating because I would say like the reasons that we lose the level are split about 50-50, where it'll be because of her mistake or because of my mistake. And I do like that in this game, your lives, you only lose a life if, like, after you die, you don't bubble and return to your partner within 5 seconds.
Oh, you
So, like,
can
over the
die
course of a
and then
level,
bubble?
you can die, like, 20 times as long as you make it back. But if you both die at the same time and, like, both of you are dead, then you lose 2 lives.
Because
right?
before, you couldn't bubble if you already died. You can only bubble before you die.
Right. Yeah.
That's cool.
So most of the time it's a cooperative thing, and my wife would get really frustrated, and I think she blames me for why we haven't finished that last level, and I don't know why, because that's not the case. It is about 50-50. She's a little bit better at the game than me, but there are certain things that I'm a little bit more skilled at with the timing. But regardless, most of it is a very enjoyable experience, and if you're not trying to do every single thing on every single level, including the extra challenging levels, then I think it's a really enjoyable experience from start to finish with whoever you're playing with. They do a good job of making it. Whereas like in the Wii version, sometimes it's like a hindrance to play with other people.
Yes.
In this one, it's more enjoyable when you have more people
Do
playing.
you still have that mechanic where you can like pick up your friend and throw them and stuff? Oh, okay, so you can sow chaos if you
In
want.
fact, there are some where like in order to like get through the puzzle, like the easiest way is to have someone like pick up the other person and like
Oh yeah.
throw them and stuff. So it's a good
Makes
time.
sense. All right. Well, very cool. Very cool. I've got a few on here. One of mine is also Mario Kart World. Very obvious, easy multiplayer. There's some controversy about how they handled the online and stuff, but I'm personally not too concerned with that because I never go online to play Mario Kart World. If I do, it's only with friends and family anyway. So I do not play Mario Kart with random people. Grand Blue Fantasy Relink. Um, this allows me to play the kind of gameplay that I enjoy playing in single player action RPGs, but with friends. And Jordan and I played this a lot at the beginning of the year. We haven't played much in a while, but it's a typical, like action RPG where you've got 4 characters in your team, and you can play as any of them, whichever you want, and then the other ones are controlled by NPCs. But you can just have one of them be your friend, basically, and then they control that character, and you can tackle these missions and bosses together. Yeah, Jordan and I had a great time with that. Patreon supporter, shout out Jordan. The winner, though, is gonna be Star Wars Battlefront 2, because Grand Blue Fantasy, like, the online of that game in terms of like just people being on and playing with random people is dead. So like if you want to play it with people, you're gonna have to like convince another friend of yours to play it with you so that you can have a friend to play it with. You definitely don't need to by any means. Like you can totally 100% this game without playing with any friends, because the your team AI is actually really good. And in fact, most of the time, like they're gonna take less damage than you because like they'll perfect dodge most things, and they did a good job of like supporting the main player. But Star Wars Battlefront 2 is very impressive because it's an old game at this point, but it looks good, it plays well, and the online is still kind of relevant. Like you'll still find people to play with anytime you log on. And my favorite mode is just the cooperative mode. I think it's just the co-op mode where you're fighting as a faction, whether that's the Empire, the Republic, First Order, whatever, Rebels. You're either attacking or you're defending, and you have your command posts that you're trying to prevent the enemy from capturing, or you're trying to advance and capture the command posts, and they're both really fun. Some factions are easier to play as than others just because of the maps that you're allocated to, but yeah, I just had a lot of fun with that, honestly. I played it on my own a lot with random people online. I played a good amount of it with some friends online as well. And it's impressive that a multiplayer title like that is still relevant to this day. And I think it's a combination of like, it's because it's Star Wars, it's because they did a really good job of fixing the game where it needed to be fixed after launch. The graphics still hold up really well. So it's pretty impressive. Yeah, I enjoyed that game.
Nice.
Yeah.
You want to switch it up and you kick off our next award?
Yeah, I would love to. Next one is Best Overworld.
Best Overworld. Games with the most captivating and immersive overworlds.
So, just to clarify, we're on the same page of what we mean by overworld. That's like the world in which the game takes place, right? And that can be a number of things, from how the environment looks, how the world looks as you're traveling through it. You might have a hub world, maybe that's really notable. That could be like a part of the overworld. But my first nominee is Avowed. So Avowed is a game that I played. It came out, I think, was it the first quarter, second quarter of this year or so?
Pretty early, yeah.
It was pretty early. Yeah, I enjoyed it. It's one of those games that I'd play it and I'd have a good time, but like it never gave me that like desire to like keep going back to play it. Like I always was interested in playing a different game rather than Avowed for some reason. So I eventually just dropped it, but like I can't really pinpoint what's wrong with it. Cause like the gameplay was crisp. I liked the enemies. I liked the world, and the overworld is unique. I like the world that they've created. It's kind of it's a bit of a fantasy setting, but it's a little more colorful than things like Skyrim and things like that. So, very cool, very unique, cool characters, good voice acting. I mean, that's besides the point of overworld, but that's just because all that stuff like plays into the overworld, right? Like if it's got terrible characters or voice acting, like it might make things feel out of place. So that's one of my nominees. Another one is Grand Blue Fantasy Relink. There's one city in there that's just particularly impressive with the city just feels really alive. And if you've played the game, you know what I'm talking about. I can't remember the name of the city. Jordan will know what I'm talking about. There's chatter going on everywhere. There's NPCs walking around. There's a lot of like trees and vegetation and stuff. There's shops everywhere. It feels like a town that's like actually alive. And the music is really good. It's a really good hub. It's a really, really good hub, and I enjoyed that. I've got two more nominees, one of which is the winner. And I'm considering changing my mind, but the runner-up is Jedi Survivor. It's really good. If you played the first game, you kind of know what it's like. But I think in Jedi Survivor, there's more of a focus on that hub world, right? Like there's a lot more things you can do there. That's cool. There are paths through which you can progress like early on in the game, some where you're going to be blocked out, where you have to unlock different skills and come back to, and you discover certain paths like later on and stuff. It didn't quite win for me because I don't know. My only problem with the world of Jedi Survivor and kind of with the game in general is that you get to that hub world and like naturally I want to explore. When I pull up the mini map and I see the yellow line, it's like, oh, I can progress through there. There's something over there. I really got tired of it. This is because it's big. I really got tired of going to point A, point B, point C. It's like, oh, I went over here. Oh, I found a chest. Oh, I went over here. Oh, I can't progress. Oh, I went over here. Oh, there's this thing blocking me. And like, it's so big that I just got tired of doing that. And it kind of like, it made me kind of like tired of the game for a bit. And I had to put it down for a minute because And I don't really know how they fix that, right? Because one could argue, well, that's a good thing because they just added more content into the main hub world that you can explore. And you don't have to go look at all those different branches right from the get-go. You can continue the main story and come back to those later. Yeah, I get it. But just for me, personally, it made the game stale. I don't know. I wouldn't mind a little more linearity to the game.
When we get around to having like a full episode review of Jedi Survivor, I think this is going to be a big topic because I think we have very similar opinions.
You agree to that with that? Okay.
So I totally get what you're saying.
Yeah.
100%.
So the winner is going to be Power World.
Whoa!
Yeah,
What? Was that what you had originally, or did you switch your mind?
I actually couldn't make up my mind, and so I was like, you know what? I just need to like talk about these games and then just
Power World.
So Power World is going to be the winner. So like the game is the overworld, and that's really why it wins. So I mean think games like, I don't know, Skyrim, right? where you've got so much to explore.
Mhm.
I don't know if that's a good comparison, but I just can't think of a better one off the top of my head. There's things everywhere, and you can pretty much go everywhere. And I don't know. It kind of gave me like a little, not quite to that extent, but like a little bit of Breath of the Wild vibes in terms of, oh, I want to go over here, like I want to see what's over there, explore that. What's that big tower in the distance, kind of thing. And I like games like that where the overworld is the game and the game is the overworld. There's no like, oh, here's your hub world and then you go explore here, right? They both have their pros and cons, and it just depends on the genre of the game. But I really enjoyed that in Power World. And another thing too is like they do a pretty good job with like Pokemon or pals that are just roaming in the wild.
Mhm.
And I came across several where it's like, wow, there's a huge grass elephant looking thing. Like it's like level 22. Like I cannot touch that. I'll get destroyed. So like I'll pass it up and then go to a different area or whatever. Oh, and then also it has these like little raid den things where you can go in and it's like a little dungeon thing and then you do that. I am so sorry she just pooped on you. I will clean that up in a moment. But yeah, there's just a lot to do in the world. I think what they've created is something pretty special.
Yeah.
So that's the winner for me.
There you go.
Let me clean that up for you while you start going.
Sure. So my first nominee is Shadow of the Colossus. Shadow of the Colossus is very much a kind of like boss rush the game, right? And so the overworld has to be super engaging, but also have a lot of variety, and I found it to be really enjoyable to ride through. The only reason that it's not more, that I'm not going to talk about it more, is that it is very basic, right? It's a short game and all that good stuff.
How many hours did it take to get through that?
Like 4 or 5.
Really? I thought it was longer.
No, because it's 16 bosses, and in between each, so like after you fight each boss, you get warped back to this temple starting point, and then you go on from there. Yeah. And then we've got my runner up, which is going to be Ghost of Tsushima. Such a beautiful world. Obviously, as someone who's never been to Japan but hopes to go at one point, I mean, that historical aspect, or just seeing Japan from, I think it's supposed to be like 800 years ago or something, and just like the nature is so beautiful, the flowers are so vibrant, so many moments where like the sun's coming up and I just like stopped and like looked at it. I mean, just gorgeous on a PS5. I'm sure. I know that you're picking it back up. Are you playing on the PlayStation?
Yeah, can I just add to that? Because like I'm playing that on my PS4 Pro.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, since our last recording session, that did inspire me to go back to play it. And so I've been playing it again. And it holds up, man. Like, it looks absolutely gorgeous. And I love it. Yeah.
Yeah. So good. And as good as it is, my winner is going to be Hollow Knight.
Hollow Knight. I thought it would be Ghost of Tsushima.
Such a sprawling world. I think the reason that I feel like I should award it to this instead is like the intricacy and like puzzle-like nature of it, where it just connects in on itself in so many different ways. I can't praise it enough. And the fact that it evolves over time, right? Because and I talked about this in my Hollow Knight review, but the fact that it's a Metroidvania, but the areas like grow and change as you progress through the game because of what you do, just keeps it feeling fresh throughout the entire playtime. It's just so good. It's so good. I could not praise it enough. So yeah, that's gonna be my winner.
Okay, very nice.
Do we want to take a pause there? I'm just gonna go rinse out the parts of my hair real quick.
I am sorry, she got you real good. Yeah.
A few moments later.
Best art style.
Best art style.
Best art style. Games with the most creative and beautiful art styles that set themselves apart.
I'll start.
Do it.
I have Avowed. I've already talked about it. It's like colorful Skyrim is kind of the best way I can describe it. A lot of the characters are designed pretty cool too. Very unique. Granblue Fantasy Relink. It's nothing crazy, honestly. The graphics of the game, the way it's presented, is very pleasing. It looks really good, but the general art style is going to be, anime RPG kind of style, right? Pikmin 2. I like that. I feel like all the Pikmin games, and I feel like each subsequent game does a better job than the previous at doing this, but it does a good job of like helping you realize that, oh, you're looking at a really small world, right? So like if you were to compare like Olimar to our size, for example, he'd be like tiny, right? And just the way that the camera angles and how it's focused and like certain elements get blurred out and stuff, it makes it look and feel like a small world, which is, I think, pretty cool. But my winner is Tetris Effect. It's really outstanding and it's really unique. And I've already said what makes it really cool, but I like it. I love that it integrates with, like, the art itself is integrated into each little like level that you're playing, the music that's playing, and it moves and is fused together with the gameplay of Tetris, which is just really cool.
Nice. For myself, my first nominee was Untitled Goose Game. It's a very nice, soft, warm pastel. It's just really, really fun to look at. And the humans in that game look really, really funny, which then makes it more fun to terrorize them as a menace goose. And my runner-up for this was Ghost of Tsushima. Again, similar. I feel like this in Overworld, I'm saying a lot of the same things, but just beautiful to look at from a landscape perspective. I mean, it's gorgeous, but and should probably be no surprise considering how I've divvied out art style wins over the past many years. The winner is Hollow Knight. 2D animation is just too good for me to pass up. It's just gorgeous, and the fact that you have so many different types of bugs that all look so distinct from each other, but again, like fit in within the overall world and the rules that are set up. It's just so perfectly designed from like an aesthetic standpoint. This was one of the easiest awards for me to give. Like there was no question that it was ever going to be this for me.
I figured it would be that one. If not, Ghost of Tsushima is just, I knew it was going to be between those two, but I know you've got a soft spot for the 2D art, so. Mm-hmm. Well, our next category is Best Boss.
Best Boss. Bosses with the most engaging gameplay and overall experience.
Do you want to start on this one?
Yeah. Had some really, really good boss fights. I will say, if any of you are worried about spoilers in the next little bit, we are getting into some of the awards where it might be... I don't think there's anything that'll be too shocking, especially because most of these games are not brand new, But if you're worried about any of that, might be a good time to to take a little break and come back if you're worried about hearing about any of these games and too much specifics. My first nominee is for The Last Colossus and Shadow of the Colossus. Each Colossus is kind of its own puzzle that you kind of work and figure out. And then the 16th, is just blown up in scale in so many ways, where you traverse his body, and like if you were to compare it to a building, it's like 10 different stories that you're like moving up as he's moving around and trying to take him out without him finding you. Just so engaging and so well constructed, especially for a game that's over 20 years old now. Like, that specific boss holds up so well, in my opinion. My runner-up for this was my favorite boss fight from Star Wars Jedi Survivor, and that is...
Are we name dropping? I feel like this one's recent enough that maybe we shouldn't.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's a specific boss from Star Wars Jedi Survivor. I'll leave it at that.
Or maybe we can. Do you think we can? Let's do it. Okay, so if you don't want spoilers...
It's not the final boss, if that's what you're concerned about.
Okay. All right. But we might discuss that too. I might discuss that too.
Gotcha.
So,
gotcha.
Anyway, yeah, if you don't want spoilers on Jedi Survivor in particular, because that one's more recent, beat that game and come back.
There you go.
I'll be honest, because we're gonna bring that up. Yeah, go ahead.
My pick is the Darth Vader fight. I really liked this fight. Earlier in this episode, I talked about how they use certain things from the movies just the right amount. And this small appearance of Darth Vader was just perfect in my mind. I loved So I was playing on Jedi Knight, right? So like the standard difficulty. And I think I died once or twice before cracking it and beating him. But like after I was done, I was kind of sitting there and I was like, that seemed a little too easy. Like, why was that easy? And then the way that the story develops, you're kind of like, oh, that's why it was easy. Like, was he really trying? Maybe not. You know, maybe he was just kind of toying around a little bit, which kind of keeps up this prestige and menacing force that Darth Vader brings into these games. But I really enjoyed that fight. I thought it was perfect. And then, as great as that was, my winner is actually the Hollow Knight from Hollow Knight, which is the final boss that you fight. Well, the final boss on your initial playthrough. There's the secret boss that you fight later. But anyway, this boss fight, I think, and this is something that Qualthorn brought up in the chat, but throughout that fight near the end, you start to see that the Hollow Knight, which has been was sacrificed to seal away this infection to save the rest of this kingdom. You're fighting basically like this possessed corpse of what the Hollow Knight used to be, right? But near the last phase of the fight, like the Hollow Knight's conscience or presence returns and starts to help you like defeat himself. And just like thematically, it was like the perfect capstone to a game that's challenging. It just, I will be here for too long if I let myself go on a little bit too much longer. It's just perfect for what that game was building to and what everything had come before. It's so good. It's so good. And go play Hollow Knight.
Hollow Knight. Very good. Well, my best boss nominees. First, I've got Pikmin 2. And it's not like one particular boss, but Pikmin 2 has a lot of bosses, which, and I feel like most Nintendo games do a really good job at this. Like, each boss has some kind of a twist, right? You can't just like go in guns blazing or Pikmin blazing, I guess. or you'll get destroyed. Like, you have to like study the boss, like what do they do, you know, what's their weakness, and really figure that out before you really like start attacking, or you lose a lot of like your guys. And I don't know, I think the way that they do that in the game is really cool. I like that they also have certain big bosses from the first game just kind of out and about at some points, like throughout the second game too. So it's just, yeah, I like the bosses in Pikmin 2. Not enough for it to win this category though. Second one, NAV3, is Grand Blue Fantasy Relink. That game is like fighting bosses, the game. That's kind of like the main thing that you do, especially once you've reached the end game. So like you're defeating bosses to farm materials so you can get stronger, so you can beat the next boss, which you're gonna then farm to get better materials, so on and so forth. And each boss is really unique. I think they do a great job at animating the bosses in ways that isn't like overly done, but it makes it just predictable enough to where you can dodge out of the way or do a counter, right? Like, there's not a lot of like, oh my gosh, he threw out that move and that was so unfair. Like, how could I have possibly seen that coming? You know, it's just that right amount of like giving the player enough hints to be able to react and deal with these moves that the bosses are gonna throw out at you. And I really like that. They were good. My winner though is gonna be Jedi Survivor. And this is when I'm going to drop it, because honestly, if we don't talk about this character, this boss, I feel like we'd be doing you a bit of a disservice, because it's a really good character to talk about, right? So final warning, drop out now if you don't want spoilers on Jedi Survivor. But here we go. It's Bode. Yeah, he's just basically the gist of it. If you haven't played Jedi Survivor, Bode is Cal's kind of like best friend throughout the game. You can tell. So he's like the first character that you partner up with right as you start the game, and it's clear that there's been some time that has passed since the first game, and he's met Bode and created this bond with him, and they work really well together, have this great camaraderie, and it turns out that he was working for the Empire at the end. And then it is kind of this layered thing, and we can go into this a little bit deeper maybe in another episode, maybe when we review the game. But he's a good character, and I'm mentioning this because it makes the boss fight even that more meaningful. He's a good character because he's not just a bad guy, right? Like, you know, his friendship with Cal wasn't necessarily fake just because he had ulterior motives, and he didn't really want to just work for the Empire either. Really, he was doing everything for his daughter, and was willing to cast aside anything that stood in his way of doing what he felt was best for his daughter. And that final boss fight at the very end is so good. And it's interesting because there's a point in the boss fight when Bode gets on top of Cal and he is just punching the crap out of him, and the screen is like slowly fading to black and you can't do anything, but then on screen you see this button prompt to quote unquote embrace the dark side. And I was like, no, I don't want to do that, so I didn't embrace the dark side. and he just beat me to death, and it was game over. So I had to restart the fight. So like it's this interesting thing of like, it kind of creates more nuance to the light side dark side situation in Star Wars. That boss fight itself does, because like the consequence of not embracing the dark side is potentially losing this, you know, paradise world that could be a escape world for everybody that wants to run away from the Empire. But as you embrace the dark side, you're able to accomplish your goals and do, you know, what you think is the right thing to do, but you're embracing the dark side. So like at what cost, right? And it kind of turns into this like balancing act. And I liked that you had no option but to embrace the dark side in order to defeat him. And I imagine, and that wasn't the only time that you're able to like embrace the dark side as Cal, and I imagine that's going to play into the story of the next game that comes out. But yeah, just that whole battle sequence, it was so good, man. It's so good.
The embrace the dark side will come up later in the episode again. It's really good.
That's my winner.
Do you want to take our next one?
Yeah, best narrative.
Best narrative. Games with well-told stories and captivating tales.
First one's Avowed. It's got a good story. It's pretty interesting. It's one of those games where you don't really know why you're special. You're trying to find out why you're special. You hear voices in your head, and you're trying to like help people as you go along the main quest, but also your like ultimate goal is to find out more about yourself as well. Not the most like unique storyline, but it was cool and I enjoyed it. Runner up is Grand Blue Fantasy Relink. In hindsight, it's not the craziest thing. Like the story's, you know, it's all right. Like it's good. It doesn't really have a lot of like crazy twists or anything. It was serviceable and good for what it is. And it's honestly, it's here because I didn't play a lot of games that had strong narratives. So that's kind of why it's here, because it does have a narrative, but just anyway, all that is to say that like both Avowed and Grand Blue Fantasy Relink are both like just so far from the winner, which is obviously Jedi Survivor. It was just, oh man, like I really liked the first one, but this one just went deeper. It just went deeper. It was really good. You know, basically everything that I just explained about Bode is really makes it. And I also like some of the back and forth between some other antagonists throughout the game. I will say it's not perfect. The narrative in Jedi Survivor, I think, really is weak toward the beginning of the game, and or maybe at a midpoint in the game, like, but it just picks up toward the end, toward the last half of the game. It gets really, really interesting. In the beginning, there were definitely many times when I would, you know, I played the game for a little while, I'd put it down, but then what was happening in the story wasn't captivating enough for me to want to keep coming back to it over and over and over again. So I would end up playing other games, taking a break for a little while. I think you've mentioned that you kind of had a similar feeling where
100%.
like, you know, it just doesn't really give you that drive. But then like stuff starts to go down and then you're like, oh shoot, you know, and then it's really, really interesting. So Jedi Survivor is the winner, but I just want to throw an asterisk in there that it's definitely not perfect, but I did really like it, and it is the winner because it is the winner of all of the games that I've played this year.
Right. And just to throw in my 2 cents on that real quick, I think the game starts really strong, right? Because you start on Coruscant on that mission. And then the narrative kind of slows down once you get to Kobo, which is the main hub world for the first time. That's when it really slows for a while.
Exactly. Yep.
And
that's
then
the problem.
I don't know when it started picking back up for you on the narrative side. I would say slightly before where it's revealed with Bode and stuff. Like some of those last interactions with really got going. But yeah, nice.
Sorry, I realized I skipped the one that comes before that.
We'll go back to that in just a sec. For myself, my first nominee was Shadow of the Colossus. Because I think, from my recollection, this is one of the first times that a game told a story in such a minimalist way when like story was important, right? Because like back before the 2000s, right, like story in video game was very optional for most games. But after stuff like Metal Gear Solid, the first Half-Life, does stuff in the late 90s, story became very important. And so I really like Shadow of the Colossus' approach of having that story that is going on and taking it, but because the entire game is spent in isolation, right? Like your main character, you don't like talk unless you're like calling for your horse, and yet it still tells like a very impactful story that I really enjoyed. And it's the classic hero's journey, and then the end throws some stuff at you, which if you don't know the twist, I'll leave it for you for later. But some great stuff goes down, and really enjoyed it. My runner-up is Hollow Knight, which I really enjoyed. Getting all the lore dumps around the world, and again, like we've talked about this before, but like Hollow Knight lore is just insane. Like how much they sneak in, and like you see like those really long videos on YouTube and stuff. Really, really interesting stuff. Really enjoyed it. But my winner for this year is Ghost of Tsushima. And somewhat similar to Jedi Survivor, I think this story starts off really, really engaging, and it dips around the middle, but then the third act hits, and oh my goodness, it's so good. I know that Ashley's actively playing through. I'm not going to go into too much detail right now. We'll save that for another time. But there are like some specific story beats and scenes and cutscenes where it was some insane stuff. And I really, really vibed with it.
I feel like the game does a really good job of, it respects Japanese history and culture and the way of the people in that time. Mm-hmm. Especially like, the people that work at the shrines and stuff, right? Mm-hmm. Like their way of living is like very specific, and they have their rules that they follow and things. It respects all of that, while at the same time it challenges it in certain moments, and says, okay, so you're so adamant on doing it this one set way, but do you realize the consequence of doing that? Like, right. People are going to lose lives, right? Like, is it really worth it for you to do that? And it's really cool.
And in the third act, there's a specific scene where they kind of have like a final reckoning of that specific theme, or exploring that idea, and it is like my jaw dropped. It's so good. I'm really excited for you to get to that point.
I can't wait to finish it, man. I'm gonna play it today for sure.
It's really good. Backstepping a little bit, we are real quickly going to go over best antagonist.
Best antagonist, the most well-written and compelling enemies.
As a reminder, the difference between best boss and best antagonist, right? Antagonists are more story-based stuff. Like all the bosses that I listed don't really play a major role in the stories within their games. The boss fight itself was what was good. So now we're going to shift over to more of the story-centric stuff. Mm-hmm. My first nominee for this is Dorman from Shadow of the Colossus. He's kind of this guiding voice that like gives you this initial instruction to go hunt them all down, and then you find out why he wants you to do that, so that he's an evil spirit, and the 16 colossi house different portions of his spirit. So as you've been killing them, you've been absorbing the portion of his spirit within them into you, and as you beat the last Colossus, he takes over your body, he possesses you in a way to try to return. And I think similar to some of the other stuff we've been talking about with like using good things sparingly to like magnify their impact, it's the same type of thing, because Dorman's not like a companion character. It's not particularly a twist, because you don't really know the guy, and they make him all sound all creepy where he's got like these overlapping voices, so you don't really know what's going on. But just really good. It's a really good little system and works for the story they tell. My runner-up is Khotun Khan from Ghost of Tsushima. Do you remember the very beginning of that game particularly well?
Doesn't
So it starts at the beach,
kidnapped?
right?
Yeah.
So you start at the beach,
big
and there's
bad
a
guy.
force of samurais that are coming to fight off the invading Mongols.
Yeah.
You see Khotun Khan walk out from the rest of his soldiers, and within 2 seconds, he throws alcohol on someone and lights them on fire. Like, that's your introduction to him. And, like, that intensity just kind of, like, keeps coming. Where as you see him throughout, just seeing, like, the different ways that he tries to bargain with, you know, Jin and these people that are trying to defend their homeland. Like, you can tell just how badly he wants to succeed and how important this mission is for him as he's trying to overcome the shadow of being the nephew of Genghis Khan, and build his own legacy. It's such an intriguing setup, and I think the game really delivers on it in a lot of different ways.
Mm-hmm.
But my winner is the Radiance from Hollow Knight, because gosh darn it, that freaking thing ruined everything and made one of the saddest games ever. The Radiance is the true force behind the infection, and it's just...
So it's one entity?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And while I have not completed this fight, I tried, and it's so freaking hard that I am not at the skill level to do it. But like, as you're approaching this boss, right, you get up on this pedestal, and it just has this prompt to like engage in a fight, right? So you press that, and you, as your little knight guy, right, you pull out your little sword, your needle, and you're just like posing, looking off at this like sun that's like in like a sunset. And the sun sprouts wings, and like the entire silhouette of this presence appears. So it's just like the most aura farming thing that I've seen in a boss fight. And yeah, just like it's constant, like everything that it did to that kingdom, I think just really sealed it for me, where even though it plays such a minor role in the game overall, like that force is just so overwhelming. I love it. I just ate it up every time it came up.
That is a cool image. I had that just pictured in my mind as you were describing it. Yeah, that sounds very intimidating.
Yeah.
Well, my best antagonist, one nominee is Ganondorf from Ocarina of Time.
Oh, classic.
He's just so good. And, you know, the short little speeches that he delivers throughout the game, it really cements him as a menacing, ruthless kind of character that, you know, he's so sure of himself that he's 100% confident that you are not a threat. He's just using you. He's manipulating you. You are doing exactly what he wants you to do. That's how he got into the chamber in the temple to begin with, right? To gain the Triforce, or the Triforce of Power, rather. He's just a good classic villain, and I can't have him be winning though, right? He's been around for a long, long time. So another one of my picks is Ravis from Jedi Survivor. I really, really like that character more than I thought I would at the beginning of the game, because he's one of those characters that seems like a mindless brute, but he's not. He has his own ethics and code that he follows. He's very loyal. he dedicates his life to, gosh, what was his name? Um,
To Dagon Gera.
Dagon Gera, yeah, Dagon Gera, because he saved him. And, Cal tries to recruit him, actually, when you fight him, and he's just like, no, I'm not going to fight for you. I'm loyal to Dagon, and so you end up having to kill him. And he, after you defeat him, his first thing that he says to Cal is he basically says, okay, you've bested me, now end my suffering. Like, let me have a warrior's death, and then Cal's like, well, no, like, fight with us. And he's like, no, just like kill me already, right? And then Cal's kind of forced to kill him because he's just, But that was a much more interesting villain than I expected him to be.
Yeah.
My winner, though, and this is going to be out of left field a little bit.
Tetris block?
It's Louis from Pikmin 2, bro.
Okay.
Have you ever played Pikmin?
I mean, I know that I've played it, but not enough to know who Louis is.
So Louis is the second commander that goes down with Olimar in the second game.
Okay.
He's kind of the Luigi character.
Okay.
His thing is he's incredibly selfish. He's always out for himself. You don't really find this out until probably toward the end of Pikmin 2, or at the very, very end of Pikmin 2, but and he eats everything. He just wants to eat and eat and eat. And the very, very final boss. So, like, I've rolled credits on Pikmin 2, but I technically haven't finished yet. So I rolled credits in the sense that the primary objective of the game is to repay your company debt by collecting a bunch of treasure. I did that a couple of days ago, and I've rolled credits. But the real final boss, after you've done that, you can keep collecting treasures and exploring the world and stuff, because your company boss is like, oh wow, there's more treasure down there. Okay, I'll go with you. Let's go get earn more money for the company. So then you go back down to what is presumably Earth. That's you're exploring Earth in Pikmin. But Louis not there because he got left behind somehow when Olimar initially left. And then, so that's when the president's like, oh well, I'll go with you. If you lost Louis, let's go look for him too, right? So then you go back, and the very final boss of the game is this huge spider with like 4 different elemental weapons, and it spams those weapons and cycles through over and over and over, and like only one type of your Pikmin is going to be immune to any given attack. So you have to be really tactful about how you approach the boss. And while you're fighting him, if you pay attention, you see Louis sitting at the top of the spider. He's at the very top, just, with his little glowy thing sticking out of his helmet. And after you defeat the spider, Louis goes unconscious, and you pick him up, and then you carry him to the ship, and then throughout the game, the little like computer guy like names every single item that you pick up, like gives it like a name, and then the name that it gives to Louis is like, I think, like King of Bugs or something like that. And the bugs are kind of like the enemies that Pikmin have to fight in the game. And so, and I haven't played Pikmin 3 or 4. Qualthorn could tell us more about this, and I would love to hear more about it if you have feedback on this. I don't think this is the last time that Louis causes trouble. Yeah, he does. I'm pretty sure he does some other things that are very selfish and messed up, and it, other people are always having to clean up around him and pick up after his mess. So it's just, I don't really think there's any. He's an antagonist because you technically are having to do things because of him. Presumably he's the one that gained control of the spider, was doing something weird down there, right? in some cave. But there's also a lot of mystery around him because it's like, well, how were you able to do that? Like, what was going on, right? And you don't expect him to be a bad guy, but he's just so shady that he kind of is a bad guy because it's only because of him that you had to go through so much crap. So I consider him an antagonist, honestly, even though you
Nice.
control him for a majority of the game. Yeah.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Okay. Then, do you want to start us off on best protagonist?
Yeah, best protagonist.
Best protagonist. Protagonists that give you the most reasons to love them.
I put Link in there from Ocarina of Time. I
Classic.
just gotta give it to my boy. He gives up his whole life, man, to save the Kingdom of Hyrule, and yeah. And then Olimar from Pikmin 2, you know, just wiping Louis's butt and taking care of business, and the president of the company makes unwise decisions, so he's having to go to Earth to pick up treasure to pay off company debt and all this stuff, right? He's a trooper. And then the main character from Avowed, I threw him in there. He or her, however you build the character. Because I don't know. The whole like, oh, I don't really know who I am and why I'm special, and I'm on a quest to like find out more about myself. That's a very typical video game trope, I think, that's done in a lot of games. But I don't think that in and of itself is necessarily a bad thing, and I think the way that they did it in Avowed was interesting enough that I wanted to, you know, play it as long as I did. I don't think I'm gonna go back to it at this point, but I liked that, and you had a lot of customizable options too, and like some of the physical attributes of the main character are unique to the main character, and it gives the main character attributes that make other NPCs react to you and say, oh, you're like, you know, this kind of special being, what the heck, kind of thing, right? So it provided for some interesting interactions with characters and things. My winner though is, it's gonna be Cal from Jedi Survivor. He's such a good character, and I'm so happy that Cal's morals are being questioned and stressed and tested in this game, because that's what makes a character interesting. You know, when they have moral dilemmas and they have to question the beliefs that they've been taught throughout their childhood, and, you know, embrace certain things that you were taught to never embrace in order to overcome a challenge so that you can save somebody, you know, that kind of thing. And yeah, Cal's a great character.
Yeah. On my end, Cal Kestis is one of my nominees. I do really enjoy his story arc. I think the narrative problems, I shouldn't say problems, but the aspects of Jedi Survivor that made it a little bit weaker narratively for me also impacted kind of how I view Cal's journey throughout the game. But those moral questions, right, especially when you start running into things at the space station that continue out throughout the end of the game, and we've kind of already discussed in that final fight, are very, very engaging, and I do like the difference in approach compared to other Star Wars protagonists. It's a good palate cleanser. I was about to say cleanser. Put that. I also nominated Miles Morales from Spider-Man Miles Morales. I like the Miles Morales character archetype from the comics and specifically in the Spider-Verse movies. And in this game, it's good. I think, you know, I think what really drew me in this one is Miles is a character whose family grew up in Brooklyn, and after some stuff that happens in the first Spider-Man game, him and his family moved to the Harlem neighborhood of New York, and so he's kind of adjusting to like where he used to be part of this very entrenched community. He doesn't have that. How is he exploring that while also balancing the new experience of being Spider-Man and a superhero? And the way that the villains interact with him throughout the game. It's a good rendition of that character.
It's not the same setting as the movie then.
No.
Like how that character's upbringing was and stuff.
It's a little bit different.
Yeah.
A little bit different.
Okay.
My runner-up for this is the Knight from Hollow Knight, because I like little short guys who are just trying their best. I think because the Knight doesn't speak, right, like kind of similar to Link, like there's a lot of like self-insertion, but at the same time I think like just like the visual aesthetic of and right, like the same thing as Link in Ocarina of Time, right? Like he's just a kid trying to save the world because he's kind of been told like you're the best fit for this, right? And then throughout the game, Link grows, right, and fulfills that role. And it's a similar thing here with the Knight, and I enjoyed seeing that play out in that game. But my winner is Jin Sakai from Ghost of Tsushima.
Sakai-sama.
So good.
Yeah.
It's so good. And I think similarly to how Cal's journey played out for you, Jin goes through a similar journey, right? Where the way that the samurai code in this game is presented, I gotta be careful. I don't know how accurate it is, but it's presented as if you fight an enemy, right, like you face them head on, so that every victory is like earned, right? There's no sneakiness or underhandedness. It's you're giving them an equal chance, and if you win, it's just because you're better. You're a better warrior. You're better suited for it. But in the face of an invading Mongol army that doesn't fight with the same perspectives or the same desire to have honorable or earned victories, they just want to get the job done. Jin has to question, is this the way to do it, or do I have to employ some of those what samurai would call underhanded or sneaky techniques in order to do it? But if that's what I need to do to save my people, like how do I balance these parts of my identity of saving people but being restricted by a code that doesn't work in the warfare of the current age? And it's so good. It's so good to watch it play out and like see the struggles play out both in gameplay and in cutscenes. Just so well realized, man.
I didn't even think about that, but there are a lot of similarities between Sakai and Cal, aren't there?
Yeah, I think
and
so.
what they go through and stuff.
Yeah. Oh, so good.
Beautiful.
We're getting into the big ones. We're into the
Yeah,
final three.
baby!
The final three. So we've got best gameplay. Okay.
Best gameplay. Games with the most fun gameplay mechanics.
My first nominee for this is Hollow Knight. I mean, it's a 2D action adventure game, right? Like weapons feel good. It's challenging. It's rewarding. Progression's really solid. But it is just a little bit limited, right? And I prefer to have a little bit more variety and requirement in what's required of me as the player as I'm fighting. But really enjoyed it. Another nominee is Jedi Survivor. There are a few points in this game where it fixed one of my big complaints from the first game, where like a lightsaber doesn't feel powerful enough, right? Like I remember saying that in the first game.
Yes.
But there are certain parts like, when you shift character perspectives, when you play as your secondary character, or in those moments where Cal has to kind of embrace the dark side and these things that the Jedi have taught him not to do, you're a force to be reckoned with. And so you're able to kind of see that. So that combat evolved in a way that I thought was pretty engaging and still made it work.
So many stances too.
Yeah, so many different options.
I feel like most people probably, like the most optimal way to play that game is like pick two stances and really get good at those two, right? So you can shift back and forth. But I imagine by the end of the game, a lot of people's like how they built Cal and what they had him specialize in probably looks different from like person to person. Like I hardly touch the blaster / lightsaber combo. Like I focused on, I liked the the double-bladed lightsaber,
Mm-hmm.
and the crossguard
heavy
lightsaber.
one.
Those two, yeah.
Yeah, good stuff. My runner-up for this is Spider-Man Miles Morales, because that combat system is so fluid, zipping around the city. And the changes between playing as Miles in this game versus your traditional Peter Parker, your special Venom-based attacks, kept things really, really varied throughout, right? Like you had a lot more options on how you wanted to take out enemies, which I really enjoyed. And my winner is Ghost of Tsushima, because that combat system, man, is so good. And once again, kind of similar to Jedi Survivor, right? Like you have your different stances as you go throughout the game, right? And I like that for each, like you don't have to switch if you don't want to. It's not very optimal, but like the idea that you as a warrior, like the way that you unlock stances is by observing the enemy, right? Like you have to take out certain enemy, like squadron leaders, but you can also get an additional like skill point and unlock those stances faster if you hide and like watch them as they're practicing their battle in camp. And so that idea of like using the enemy's tactics against them while also adopting it into like the samurai code when you're, handling things sword to sword, I just thought was so cool, and I really enjoyed it. And there's some stances in there, like as you like fully power yourself up, you can do some crazy combos and pull off some massively cool stuff, and yeah, have a lot of fun with that kind of stuff.
Very nice. That is a worthy winner right there. Well, one of my nominees is Pikmin 2. I've already kind of talked about the gameplay a bit, but I like, especially in Pikmin 2, when you can use two captains at once and swap between them. So you could be controlling like Louis to go take down this like wall with like a squad of Pikmin, and then while the wall is being taken down, you swap to Olimar to defeat a couple enemies on the side, and you can kind of do this swapping back and forth thing, and that also makes defeating certain bosses more interesting, and it's just more like multitasking you can do, as the Pikmin players would say, better dandori you are able to accomplish. So I really enjoyed that. And Jedi Survivor, for all the reasons that you already said, it makes it so that it like the combat doesn't really get stale, because if you don't like a style, you just swap. You have so many different options of combat. And I also like that they allow you to reset all of your skill tree stuff. So, if you decide to invest a lot of points in one given skill tree, but you decide, oh, you know what, I don't like that stance as much as this other one, you can reset the tree. There's some kind of cost to it. I can't remember what it was.
I don't know either.
Or maybe not. I don't remember.
I don't think I ever did it.
But you could do it, and you can reinvest those points into a different skill tree so you can actually play as the stance that you want to play as, maybe because you unlocked it later down in the storyline or something like that. But I really like that. It was fun. And man, Cal is a force to be reckoned with. The winner, though, is going to be Grand Freaking Blue Fantasy Relink. This game, as I was playing it at the beginning of this year, I kind of figured that this was going to be the winner of at least the gameplay section of our Game Awards, because it was so good, man. It's like the kind of gameplay that I really enjoyed from Tales of Arise, but more, and I can play it with my friends, and the gameplay loop of like upgrading your gear, getting new weapons and stuff, all of that is multiplied by the number of characters that are in the roster. Like, there are so many characters you can recruit that I haven't even touched yet. So if you're like, you know what, I'm kind of sick of playing as this character, in your regular party of 4, well, it doesn't matter. You can go recruit like a whole another dozen, and every single character has their own special strengths and the way that they play. So you kind of have to learn how to play as each character, but that makes it so interesting. And it's not just like a palette swap / different elements or whatever. Like, no, legit, each one plays differently. And I've mentioned this before on the podcast, I think when we did a review episode of this game, but like the character that Jordan plays as, like I couldn't just pick him up and play, like I would get destroyed and vice versa, because he just plays differently. So that like replayability and the uniqueness of how each character fights, it's really, really cool, and I loved it.
Nice. Good stuff.
Yeah. Well, our final category before the big one is best gaming moment. I only have 2.
Best gaming moment. Particular moments in games that highlight the glory of gaming.
Primarily because, and I was explaining this to you earlier, but I played a lot of games that are pretty like moderately paced, as in there's not a lot of like crazy moments that happen, like Pikmin, let's see, Tetris, right? Or Grand Blue Fantasy. Anyway, so I only have 2, but they're both great. They're both really good. The runner-up is, this might be strange, but the title screen of Ocarina of Time when I boot up the game, that like can bring tears to my eyes. It's so good. It brings me back to my childhood. I'm not even going to sugarcoat it. Like, it is nostalgia, right? Like, if somebody that's never played this game booted up that title screen for the first time, I'm sure they would recognize how beautiful it is. But, yeah, it's so good, man. I could just have that going on my TV and just let it play.
I think I'm going to slightly disagree with you. I think that anybody that boots that up for the first time, like, I think, like, it's, like, perfectly designed. I think everyone, like, if they were to just sit and watch it all, would be like, oh my gosh. Doesn't matter if they've played it before. Doesn't matter how many times they've played it. I really think that it is, like, as, like, an intro, as a game file is booting up, is probably, like, unmatched in terms of, like, getting you ready to play a game. It's perfect for what it is. 100%. All to say, like, I think you're completely valid for including this. Okay. I think it's a perfect moment in gaming.
Okay. I'm happy to hear that. Yeah, because I mean, one that comes close would be like Kingdom Hearts 2.
Oh, dearly beloved, man.
But it's not quite to the Ocarina of Time level yet. It's just there's something about like the music playing, you just hear Epona's, running through the field, and it's very like melancholy.
That's exactly the word I was gonna say. Like that mix of like hope, right? Because it's a Zelda game, right? Like it's a hopeful adventure, but like no, like it's sad at the same time, and kind of has that longing that I think the rest of the game kind of instills in you. Mm-hmm. It's really good. That's an excellent pick.
So freaking good. And honestly, like if I'm not gonna give it the winner, but that's only because it's, we've talked about Ocarina of Time so much, and I just want to give another game the highlight. And because I played it so many times. So for that sake, the winner is going to be Jedi Survivor. And it's really the final moments with Bode, like that plot twist at the end. And they did it really well because they foreshadowed it a little bit too. There were some moments with Bode leading up to that final confrontation where it made you wonder, oh hey, there's some kind of conflict of interest between Bode and Cal. And I was surprised that Bode turned out to be a villain, because when I was seeing the the foreshadowing stuff with those two characters, my thought was, oh, is Cal losing his way a little bit? Like, is he so focused on going to Tanalorr that, you know, is he gonna get kind of like consumed by that and maybe like go down a path that he's not supposed to, and like Bode is trying to like bring him back, but it actually turned out to be the other way around. So like it was it was effective foreshadowing because it gave me enough to wonder, hey, what's going on between those two, but it wasn't like, oh, Bode is a bad guy, you know. Because I still don't think he was a bad person. He just I think he got tunnel visioned a bit, you know, and that moment with those two is so heartbreaking because like the relationship between those two has been like stressed and presented to the player from the very, very beginning of the game. That's the first thing you see when you start playing that game is the relationship between those two characters. Makes it very clear that they've been buddies for a long time. And then for Cal to lose his best friend in that manner is just really, really heartbreaking. And you know, it was cool because it also highlighted Marin, the other semi-side character. I mean, almost kind of another main character, but you know, now she's the one that's trying to like keep Cal grounded, you know, and making sure that he doesn't go down a path that he shouldn't and stuff. And so that whole sequence of events at the very end, man, I loved it.
Yeah, not to hijack it too much, but like subconsciously I was blown away by it because the same voice actor for Bode, I've only ever heard him in one other game. That game is Red Dead Redemption 2, where he plays like one of your most loyal allies. I think like subconsciously I was just like, this voice, I've played through this game twice now, like this is a guy like I can trust, I can depend on. And then that's kind of how Bode is built up throughout the game as well, right? And then you see the things kind of shift a little bit, and like I was shook. It came out of nowhere. I think it's very well presented for what they went for.
Absolutely. I mean, they could turn that video game into a movie, and it would be great.
Yeah, for sure. For my list, I did include the Embrace the Darkness prompt. I played that last night for the first time. So it's still very, very fresh in my mind. But I was like, oh my gosh, here we go. And it was crazy. Like, I wondered for a second if it was going to go like so far to like bleed Cal's lightsaber. I'm like, how far are we going with this? And I'm glad.
Right.
I'm glad that it doesn't, right? Because it shows that just that split in morals, right? That kind of nuance, I think was the word that you used earlier that I thought really well described it. There is the ending to Shadow of the Colossus, I think, is very well constructed and very impactful at the end of that story. My runner-up, I can't go into too much specifics because I want you to experience it for yourself when it comes up. There's a very specific conversation that you have in Ghost of Tsushima with Lord Shimura, who's Jin's uncle, that blew me away. Like, perfectly acted, perfectly shot. The visuals of it's just stunning. But I'll wait to share more on that until you have the chance to experience it. And my winner, though, and this is arriving in City of Tears in Hollow Knight for the first time. This goes a little bit beyond just the game itself, but this City of Tears is a part of the kingdom that's constantly covered in rainfall. But it's like a very calm place overall. Considering how big it is, there are very, very few enemies compared to the rest of the game. But you get access to a lot of stuff in City of the Tears that makes the game easier. You finally get access to someone who can upgrade your sword. You have different ways where you can trade in different resources to get certain charms that make the game easier. So a game that's challenging before that point, and one that I had really been struggling to like come to terms with as far as the gameplay. And then entering into this city, the rain is falling down. You have this moment where you see someone that you've interacted with before, observing a statue. They give you a little bit of a lore dump. You get access to all this stuff. And the music for that city, man, is just this gorgeous piano and string composition. It is just so perfect. So, like, I think for many people, they're probably like, well, that's not, like, a major moment in the game. Because it does happen early on. But, like, because of my experience with the game up to that point, it was just, like, such a welcome relief and helped me get to the point where then I was able to enjoy the rest of the game, which obviously you can tell I loved a whole lot. And it's because that came at the perfect moment and just had that type of impact on my experience with it.
Amazing.
All right. Game of the year.
Last but not least, Game of the Year. The best overall video games SJ and Alex played in
2025.
Game.
Can I guess what I think yours is going to be? Or maybe not.
No, we've done this before. Go ahead.
Okay. I think yours is Hollow Knight.
Okay. I think yours will end up being Jedi Survivor. My runner-up for this year is Ghost of Tsushima. Really, really enjoyed it. I think I've shared everything that I need to for now. Totally worth playing. Its sequel came out this year. I know that people have been saying you can play that one before playing the first one. I would recommend playing the first one just because it's so good. Go ahead and play it. And Esha, you were absolutely right. My winner for this year is Hollow Knight. It's just so good. Again, another game that has a very, very well-received sequel that came out this year. I just really think that it was one of those games that came at the perfect time because it was the first game that I really put a lot of time into since coming back from my internship in California. So after like a decent break of not playing for a while, I hopped into it and I had enough to keep me coming back. And I think every aspect of the game is strong. I don't think there's like any specific weakness. It's just overall very, very good and would highly, highly recommend it.
All right. Are you... I think I've asked you this before, but are you going to get the sequel? I know it's supposed to be harder.
Right. So I think where I'm currently at, I think I've shared this, but to reiterate it, not yet. Knowing how difficult the first game was for me to progress through and knowing that the second game is so much harder, like I do not have the time to develop the skills needed in a specific game to beat a game of that level of difficulty.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, that's fair.
So I'm not opposed to it. I'd really love to get to it eventually, especially because you play as Hornet, and Hornet's freaking awesome.
Yeah.
And her vocal stems are still part of my daily vocabulary. But I would just need like specific time and space to like really absorb that effectively. So.
Maybe after your bachelor's degree.
We'll see.
I've got 3.
He's gonna give it to Ocarina of Time, guys. Just watch. Just kidding. I'm just kidding.
I got 3 of my picks here. Let me talk about all of them,
Okay.
and then I'll announce the winner, because this one is pretty close. Pikmin 2.
That could be a dark horse. You've been talking about Pikmin 2 a lot. I think
I really, really enjoyed it. Like, honestly, I really need to credit like Press A on YouTube, because if it weren't for like my coming across those videos, like my interest in Pikmin wouldn't have really been rekindled. And it's to the point that after I finish beating the final boss in Pikmin 2, I want to get Pikmin 3 and play that on my Switch. And then on to Pikmin 4, because Quathorn spoke so highly of that game.
I was going to ask, like, is this enough to, like, you're going to go through it all?
I kind of want to.
Wow.
I kind of want to, man.
Wow.
So yeah, I've enjoyed that game for all the reasons that I've already mentioned. Grand Blue Fantasy Relink. It's like, it gave me just about everything I was looking for in terms of gameplay in an action adventure RPG, plus being able to play with friends. Like, that was really fun to be able to do that with Jordan. Yeah, just the gameplay. Just the gameplay, man, was so good. And then Jedi Survivor. That's the other nominee. So good. Story fantastic. Gameplay fantastic. Really good characters. My winner of Game of the Year 2025 is Grand Blue Fantasy Relink.
What?
Hear me out, all right? It comes down to this. I almost chose Jedi Survivor. But if I chose Jedi Survivor, I think I would be choosing Game of the Year based on recency bias, and I don't want to do that. I really thought about it, right? Like, especially like as I was listening to you talk about all these different games, and I've been organizing all this information in my head as I've spoke about these games in each category. Jedi Survivor is fantastic. It has a really, really big weakness, and that is that mid part of the game. And if it weren't for that, I think I would have given it to Jedi Survivor. But that was
a slog.
It was a slog, and it was enough of a slog that it steered me to play other video games and set it aside for a little while as well. And if it weren't for Zach, shout out Zach, thank you, like telling me like in all caps and text, he's like, bro, just push through, it's worth it, I promise. And I'm so glad I listened to him, because it was absolutely worth it, and I'm so glad I finished it. And I still, wouldn't give that game anything less than, I don't know, 7.5 out of 10 or something, right? It's that or above. That really, really holds it back. And pacing in a game is so important, because if you don't have good pacing, like you lose the interest of the player. And if you lose the interest of the player, you're defeating the whole purpose of the video game. And that is the biggest weakness of that game, in my opinion. Grand Blue Fantasy, though, bro, that game didn't skip a beat. It is the gameplay king. It's so good. I don't know why this game didn't get the amount of highlight that I think it deserved. And look, I was pulling up Steam, and these are just the facts, man. So like, I look at Jedi Survivor. Granted, this isn't the kind of game that takes forever, but I played it for 33.1 hours, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's a good chunk of time, to play through. And that's, I think, 30, a little over 30 hours is probably what's expected to beat a game like this. You want to know how many hours I put into Grand Fantasy, man?
I'm going to say we crossed into triple digits and at 100.
Yeah, I put in 146 hours. Bro, it's Game of the Year, man. It's Game of the Year. Like, and that's the thing. Like, I'm not even tired of this game. I could go back. If Jordan's like, hey, let's play Grand Blue Fantasy, I could hop on and play this game and have a great time. Great time. So it's the combination of like, cool characters. They're all unique. They have great designs. And, they got tanks. They've got, all these different archetypes of characters and gameplay and weapons. And there's so much replayability, and the gameplay loop is so good. It's not perfect, mind you. It's not perfect. Jordan did bring up one valid criticism, which is that he wished that they had more like dungeon-like things where you like go through a whole area to clear together with your friends, rather than boom, you dropped in an arena with the boss. But yeah, man, the numbers can't lie. It was interesting enough for me to put in that many hours, and I still don't really consider myself fully done with it. So
Wow.
yeah, man.
You know, I should have known. I don't think we've had a single year where whatever game wins best gameplay for you wins game of the year.
Really?
I
I
think,
haven't really paid attention
I
to
think
that.
that's been the case every single time. So, like, I should have known. I should have known that it would be Grand Blue Fantasy. And yeah, hopefully it stays a game you continue to enjoy.
Yeah, man.
What are your picks for the best of games that you've played in 2025? If you want to share specific categories, just your general game of the year, we would love to hear all of them. We'd also like to give a special shout out to our Patreon supporters who are our true presenters of the Hoecherl Game Awards. SJ, you want to go ahead and list them out for us?
Yes, we've got our down to earth cockatiels, including Joshua, Tyler, and Matthew, and we have our down to earth parakeets, Nicholas, Noah, Qualthorn, and Jay Maurer. Thank you very much.
Thank you all for a fantastic year. We will get this episode out, and then it'll probably be a little break. We usually tend to take some time off to just kind of recover, play some new games, get some new content out for you guys. If you have any requests, please feel free to let us know. But
hope you have a Merry Christmas or had a Merry Christmas and Happy New Year, and we will talk to you in 2026.
we'll see you then.
See ya.